From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into another episode of the Pucks Out Podcast. I'm Bobby Butler. He's Brandon Bond.
Hey-o.
You can find us in the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold beer and let's get after it.
This was one of my first What Are You Bingings, bro? The Hippies and Cowboys IPA, Tennessee Brew Works, and perfect opportunity because we're using our new Tailgate Drink Local koozies, bro.
So hoppy beer.
Yeah, man. I can't believe you buy it. Like you're the one that bought this. It's not like I brought this to the table.
Well, it was your week, and I figured I went ahead and got it. And since it's I know you like IPAs, but don't forget everyone to buy all the apparel you need from us on our What a Maneuver store. Check us out on Patreon to get behind the scenes content, and go subscribe and hit that bell on YouTube to find all the new video content we'll be coming out with.
And we'll come and we'll record at your children's birthday party if you really want us to. So, book us through our booking agent.
So how are you this week, bud?
Good, man. Good. We're actually recording about 2 days earlier than we normally record because we're all going to be having a little grill out, dude. So I'm super pumped. So excited about getting to it. Working lots of hours, man. Lots of hours, but worth it. So what about you, partner? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Just been busy working. Excited to play some with that hockey sauce kit today.
Yeah, dude. That'll be fun.
We got a bulk order of Tailgate Lager in.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be drinking that. They hooked us up with some stickers and some hats, so that's always dope.
Well, we did pay for the hat.
Yeah,
they hooked us up. They hooked us up with the 2 stickers.
Yeah. But all right, so let's move into some news. Phase 3 has officially been moved to the earliest it can start is July 10th, and I think that date's going to keep getting pushed out. Pushing it only 10 days is a weird. I don't know why they just arbitrarily picked. It was supposed to be the 1st, and now it's the 10th.
To be fair, Bobby, did they hear that we hit the horn? Because the emergency episode, we did hit the horn. I think that's going to be the biggest problem is why are you setting, if you have specific goals that you need to meet by specific dates, why are you setting date goals instead of like, this is what we need to happen? In that way, nobody's like, when July 31st rolls around, they're like, phase 3, it's coming, bro. Yeah. It's coming to a theater near you. Like, so I just find it weird that especially since the situation, you got to assume they're making up what they want to officially have done to get to these phases. So yeah, I don't know if it's more just they're gonna give them a date to game plan, like for teams to game plan, and then move their game plan back. So, but I feel like that could have been an email. You don't have to tell us, hey guys, we're gonna soft it. We're gonna be soft at July 1st, and then hey, a week later, like, hey, it's actually gonna be July 10th. That stuff may leak, but you had a press conference and told us. You didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
so.
No, I don't think they're going about this the right way. I applaud their effort to get it started, but they're not doing it the right way right now.
Yeah.
But moving on our special emergency episode, we announced that Ovi got the Rocket Richard. He's actually going to be splitting that with Pasternak. So we both won that in our preseason predictions or in our midseason predictions, but I got the double points because I doubled down on Ovi.
Yeah, and so since we both won that, what I need to really hope for is old McKinnon winning the Hart, because then that pretty much evens us up.
I think Draisaitl's getting the Hart.
I think that you're a moron and I hate you. So, we can all just think things, Bobby, but that doesn't make it so.
Speaking of that, we spoke. If you haven't listened to the emergency episode, go listen to it.
Yep.
B, we announced that Draisaitl won the Art Ross, kind of expected. He was a runaway winner. I think, it was going to the Oilers either way.
Yeah. That was, we talked about it, but remember from the earlier episode, for those of you that have been with us since the beginning, I basically convinced Bobby to not pick Draisaitl and pick McDavid. And so worked out for me. I was excited because we got I mean, it's going to be close. I mean, we have we both had the same on some, but we had different on a lot of the picks. But I mean, it's not like one of us picked someone completely random that has no chance to win all these other awards. I mean, we were pretty much neck and neck. So,
yeah. Do you remember who you picked to win the Vezina by any chance?
The Vezina, I think I picked Bennington because you said you refused to pick him.
Yeah. I picked Bishop, so I think both those guys are in the running, maybe?
Yeah, probably.
But speaking of goalies, Halleck and Rask from the Bruins won the William M. Jennings Trophy for fewest goals allowed. Great duo up there who we're actually going to talk about here in a second.
Killed it. So let's go ahead and move into our Part 8 and final part of the GM grades, buddy. I think you're going to start us off with the Bruins, right?
Yeah, those assholes up in Beantown. So we've got players over $7 million, and if you're just now tuning in for the last series of this, we grade players based on how much they make, what they should be performing at. If they make over $7 million, they should be performing as an elite player. You've got Tuukka Rask at $7 million, worth it.
Yeah,
and then David Krejci at 7.25.
Is it Krejci?
Krejci? Something. But
it's spelled weird.
Yeah.
We're here in Tennessee. We could say pretty much whatever and people would agree with it. It's not like we're putting this out in Toronto where they know how to say all the names.
So he's making 7.25 and salary cap available is $670,000. So not great, but they're making runs. I mean, they were in game 7.
That and I mean, well, the players that are not mentioned on this players over $7 million is really the key. I mean, Patrice Bergeron,
Brad Marchand.
I mean, they've got
Charles
McAvoy, lots of depth pieces. I mean, it's not like we're sitting here talking about a team that is struggling.
Yeah. So draft capital, they have no picks in the first and fourth. They've got one pick in all the other rounds. So 2 and 3 and 5, 6, 7. The good, Pasternak went from,
and to mention all the players, we did not even just mention David Pasternak. Yeah. So go ahead and talk about him now.
Pasta went from being just a top line forward, an elite guy, to being a superstar.
He is a superstar.
I mean,
man.
he took the jump this year. And they kept the same lineup as a team that made it to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final when they could have easily won that game.
But also what makes him a superstar is his dope Dunkin' Donuts commercial. Better make it a medium.
Yeah. I love it when they play that when he actually goes to the penalty box again. Yeah. That's dope.
I only got 2 minutes. Better make it a medium.
And they have 2 outstanding goalies, which we spoke on earlier. Tuukka Rask and is it Yaroslav Halak?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Halak had a fantastic year, man. I mean, not that Rask didn't, obviously, but Halak was one of those guys that when Rask was out for a little bit, he was a steal to have.
Bad. Finding bad for this team is a reach. McAvoy didn't have the great start to the season, but he corrected himself, and I
think the bigger problem with McAvoy is the fact that he's not a super big offensive defenseman. So he had a really good rookie campaign, and people thought that was expected from him, but that's not really what he normally does. So, but he did start to score a few more points and stuff, but I thought that he was doing what he needed to do. But for the thought process of this guy's going to come in and be a great defenseman for us, I mean, a little disappointing for what you were expecting, like you said.
So moving into grades, when you look at the players they have and the players they're not paying over $7 million, the players they are paying, it's hard to give them anything less than an A.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about some recent cup wins and definite playoff success. I would say hard for me to not even argue for the A plus. So we can go A.
I think we can do A plus.
Let's do A plus. I mean, because we're talking about long-term success over multiple years, cups. Could potentially be the number 1 seed this year in the new playoff format. I think it's hard to not say A plus, and unfortunately, I think team grade. I think that's also not hard to not say A plus.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting their money's worth out of guys. Now, obviously, some of these guys are going to be due for bigger contracts coming in, but I mean, as a conscientious objector, that's. As a
you going to war, bud?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, right. I'm not going to war for Boston. As a outsider looking in, it's hard to not say A plus. So
Yeah.
I would say A plus on both counts.
Yeah.
Hard
So
to-
A
hard to say
plus across the
against.
board.
Yep.
So why don't you tell us about Le Habs?
The Montreal Canadiens, otherwise known as the Habs. And for those of you that don't know, the reason they're called the Habs
Le Habitant.
is because, that's the home team for the French, is what it essentially means. So they've always just been called the Habs. My second team, and apparently, I just picked a team because second team when I started getting really into hockey, I picked the Habs because I thought they have freaking dope jerseys, sweaters. And I love their symbol, but apparently I picked the Alabama of hockey because they got all these championships when there's like 3 teams in the league, and so like I feel like an Alabama fan when I'm touting it, like, oh yeah, we claim this year. It's like, bro, like 90% of people were off to war.
Yeah, roll Habs,
roll Habs, roll baby. But players over $7 million, Carey Price making 10.5, and Shea Weber making over $7 million. I mean, Carey Price we'll talk a little bit about it. 10.5 million is a lot of money. So we'll kind of discuss that a little bit more when we get to the good and bad. Salary cap, 4.5 million available. Lots of good money to be used. Draft capital, really, really good draft capital. A first round pick, three second round picks, 2 third round picks, 3 fourth round picks, 2 fifth round picks, a 6th round pick, and 2 7th round picks. That is a ton of picks.
Yeah.
Going into the good, that's a ton of picks for a playoff team. I mean, not
technically
normal,
speaking,
not normal situations, but again, they go and they win the cup this year. I don't think they care if they're a 12 seed or they, were friggin' Detroit. I mean, you win the cup, you get to lift that cup, your name goes on it. That's all that really, really matters at the end of the day. Whether somebody else asterisks that or not, you won the cup and your name will forever be on it. So not that we expect that to happen, but you never get a shot unless you go to the playoffs. So playoff team, Shea Weber, after getting an injury this year and the talks being he's gonna retire, he's never gonna play again.
That was crazy.
And then they get you talking and they're like, if he retires, then the Preds owe all this money. And I'm talking like this because this is the Southern people that are talking. And then he comes back and he's straight dominating still.
Yeah.
He is fantastic. And we've talked about this before. As much as I loved having PK here and how much it was a great trade at the time, it looks silly now, and that's easy to say. Hindsight is 2020. Obviously we can say, oh, this guy's playing better than this guy. And we lost the trade. It was a great trade at the time.
And I mean, even looking back, and we'll do a whole session about PK and the trade. Shea Weber didn't help the Habs get to a Stanley Cup final.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
it's all
when you're talking
vision.
about that trip to the Stanley Cup final, PK was a massive part of that.
Yes.
And without him, we wouldn't have gotten there. Did
100%.
he fall off a little bit? Yeah.
100%. That's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
hindsight is you can't look at half the picture and say that you understand what's going on. So, but yeah, I mean, Shea Weber will always have a place in all of our hearts because of the dominance he provided here in Nashville. So, love old Shea. But lots of youth, lot of good young players that makes it seem like this team is going to be good for a while. Good contracts. They're getting a lot of worth out of a lot of guys that are not making a lot of money. Brendan Gallagher, Max Domi, Jonathan Drouin. So the list goes on. And so, you can tell from their salary cap available and their draft cap available, this was a rebuild. They've been kind of rebuilding for the past couple of years, but it's very obvious that they have a bright future. Some bad is Carey Price playing like he's worth $10.5 million. It's hard to say.
The question you have to ask is he playing $3.5 million better than Tuukka Rask?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
I would have to. Now, again, it goes back to team in front of you, and there's lots of questions. So that's why it's more in the bad is that the pure fact that we're having to question it makes it bad in my mind because of how much money it is. I'm not 100% saying like there are no other factors to him playing bad. But we're talking about what could be one of the greatest goalies in the history of the NHL that we've seen produce before. And it just seems like he phones it in sometimes, or he doesn't give it everything. But I think that he is going to be excited to get an opportunity to go play in the playoffs and show what a top-notch goalie can do, because they can take a team that we don't think is going to advance very far, and all it takes is 4 games where you're standing, I guess 3 games where you're standing on your head and nobody in their mom or their mom can score on you. And so Carey Price has a good opportunity to show us, oh, well, that was stupid for you to put it in that section. But very streaky throughout the season. They had good long runs, and then they had really bad runs as well. But the worst thing of the entire year for them, they never beat Detroit. They gave Detroit either 3 or 4 wins. It was hard to read through the thing, but it was at very least 3. I counted. I think it may have been 4. Detroit had 17 wins. That is, you gave them 4 wins, and you're a playoff team. So, so that's definitely has to go on bad. Moving into the grades, GM, it's 4.5 million. Some great players, some great youth. I'm not going to sit here, but lots of draft capital. I'm not going to sit here and argue for an A or an A plus, but I think it's hard to go. Yeah, I think it's hard to go below that B plus.
That's a lot of draft capital.
A lot of draft capital, and depends on what you do with it.
If you play the game well and get a lot of equity out of that, then it's an A. But right now, let's do B plus.
Let's do B plus. I agree with that. Team, I wouldn't say as high as B plus because of the streakiness. I mean, they are a playoff team, but our barometer of playoff team has really changed since we have gotten 4 extra teams per half.
Yeah, I would say C minus.
I would say because of their youth. I mean, they only got 2 guys making over $7 million. I would say a C plus or a B minus would probably be more fair. You want to go C minus?
Yeah. You want to call it? We can do C plus.
Let's do C plus. I think that's pretty fair for a team that, again, has an opportunity to go win a cup. You know, that's the biggest thing right now. So that is going to wrap up the Habnadians, and you're going to move into the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, so the Senators up in Ottawa, players over $7 million. You got Tomas Chabot and Bobby Ryan. Salary cap available, a lot, 7.1 mil. Draft capital, a lot. 3 first rounders, 4 second rounders, 2 third rounders, 1 in the 4th and 5th, 2 in the 6th, and no 7th rounders. That's a lot.
A lot of opportunity here. I mean, you hope they do something with it.
The good. Lots of cap available, lots of in draft capital. Chabot and Bobby Ryan coming back looking better. Ryan.
Chabot being there. Chabot is he's so young is more what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. Separate him. Sorry. I typed that in wrong for you, buddy.
Bobby Ryan coming back after his alcohol treatment. You know, it's always good to see a comeback like that.
Yeah. Especially from a guy that is that dominated pretty recently.
Yeah. Bad. They are 3 years removed from that Eastern Conference final, which I talk all the time about. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just how one goal can just change the direction of your franchise.
I think you're saying the Ottawa Senators caused coronavirus, because I mean, think if the Predators would have won this, maybe coronavirus doesn't happen, bro. I'm just saying.
We don't know for sure, but that's definitely a possibility.
I'm not throwing a guarantee out there, but I do want to throw it out there as a, just think about it, guys.
Yeah. And welcome back into InfoWars. Yeah, now they're terrible after missing that.
Frogs are gay. I'm so sorry.
And they missed the playoffs, which if you're a team that misses the playoffs this year, that's pretty sad.
There's 7 of you. Yeah. There are 7 of us.
The grades, GM, with the cap, do they still have the same GM from 3 years ago that allowed them to get into this position? That's my question. Do we know that?
That I don't know. I would probably say
yes, because we would have heard the news about them firing a GM, I feel like.
Yeah, but we haven't been doing this but for half a year. So so possible. But let's not even worry about that. We're talking about what you can do now.
Okay.
Because even within the last, couple years, they've been bad.
Yeah.
They've been bad, and they don't seem like they're doing a lot.
I feel like they've had draft capital the last 2 years.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So I think GM, it's kind of hard to go above D for either one of these.
Mark Stone trade, Yeah, I would say because we are not sure about the GM let's go C-. I feel like, look, that's a lot of money and a lot of draft capital that you can actually do something with.
Yeah.
But I mean, for team, yeah, you gotta go minus a couple players.
D-.
D-, yeah, I would see. I mean, they're no Detroit tier or anything, but yeah, they haven't been great.
Yeah.
Great as a team. So
yeah.
I think that's fair.
And now what better way to finish off our GM grades with the hockey mecca of the world, the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Montreal would like a word, but okay, it's fine. I'm going to go into Toronto. So first of all, as a secondary Leafs fan or a secondary Habs fan, I got to say, the Leafs suck. And I want to go in and actually now be unbiased and go through this. Players over $7 million. They got 3. Austin Matthews, 11.6. John Tavares, 11. And Mitch Marner, 10.8. Obviously, it's hard to argue with those 3 guys. Now,
big contracts.
Big contracts, great players. But it has really shown what they're able to do around those guys because of that. And so as much as you would love to have all 3 of those 3 guys can't win a cup by themselves. So salary cap available. Literally the last team we did, $0. They have $0. So really they're probably running in the negative, but they only count current contracts and stuff like that. Like if you're paying out on other contracts outside of what's on your team, those don't actually hit your cap or anything. So $0. Not that they need to go out and sign a big free agent or anything, but I mean, they could use some potential depth. Draft capital, obviously not a lot. They have 0 cap. They have 0 cap. So they got 0 first round picks, a second round pick, 2 fourth rounds, a 5th round, 3 6th rounds, and 3 7th rounds. So I mean, they got some on the back end, but how many times do you hear about that 7th round player hitting and becoming a superstar? Not that they need superstars.
Yeah.
That is definitely most certainly
not
their problem. Right, exactly. That is most certainly not their problem. Some good, and this is not a lot of times that we talk about a firing being good. Mike Babcock getting fired was tremendous for that team.
And can I just say that one of the times I experienced the most anger was seeing on Pred's Facebook, which is just a hellhole in itself, people wanting Mike Babcock to come to Nashville.
Yeah.
That just was so annoying.
Mike Babcock was a great coach when coaches got to be the head honchos. Now we're in a different type of world and a different type of league.
He's a shitty person.
It's really weird for coaches to be able to yell and scream at guys that are making $4 or $5 million more than them. It's like, bro, I'm your boss. Okay. And so we don't usually like to tout firings or somebody getting dismissed from their job as a good thing.
Yeah.
But this was great for the Leafs.
Yeah. Not just because he was a shitty person, but because Sheldon Keefe killed it.
He came in and killed it. 27, 15, and 5. Best start for a new coach in the 102-year history of this team. Using their superstars more, he was able to get a lot of great play from his superstars, taking them from 19 minutes of time on ice a game to 21 minutes of time on ice a game. So that is fantastic. That's understanding your team. And from what you hear, the guys loved him. They really liked and enjoyed playing hockey for him. And we all know if you hate your job and you hate going in the morning, you hate your boss, you're going to, and not that these guys would, but some of these guys that are not making a lot of money may phone it in. Like, why am I going to go out and try really hard for this guy that doesn't seem to care about me? So they're going to be a dangerous team in the playoffs, in my opinion. They've had a lot of time to think about what happened this year and why they're going in as an 8 seed and why they were not going to be in the playoffs originally type of deal. The bad, lots of injuries. Only 2 players have played all 70 games before the cancellation, and that was Matthews and Tyson Barrie. So I mean, some depth on defense that is good. Going back to the good, they pulled in Vlasic from the Sharks when the Sharks decided to blow it up. 3 guys over 10 million and they're still struggling to make the playoffs. I mean, we're talking about the Habs having 1 guy over 10 million and, or another guy over 7 and made the playoffs kind of limping in, but neither of those 2 guys, as much as I love Shea Weber, I don't feel he's a superstar in this league anymore. You got 2, at very least 2 superstars on that team.
Yeah.
lost to obviously this is the number one thing. They lost to a Zamboni driver. And this is not to take anything away from this guy.
But come on.
Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying, buddy. That is what I'm saying, Randy Moss. Yeah, lost to a Zamboni driver, and obviously that's not going to factor in now. But it's something that needs to be mentioned that you or I mean, probably not you or I, but any guy off a club team could have come in and potentially beat the Maple Leafs. So, so let's move into GM and team grade.
Yeah. Before we do that, though, that was Chris Carter, not Randy Moss, but yeah.
No one would have ever known, you fool. And first of all, why the hell would you clip Chris Carter over Randy Moss? Randy Moss is come on, man.
I couldn't find it, man.
Come on, man. Come on, man, yourself right now. Come on, man, yourself.
Oh, man.
That's what I'm saying, Chris Carter. Okay, so let's move into grades.
So GM, I mean, it's hard to go high grades on this team.
I wouldn't go high grades. I mean, who cares if you got 3 superstars if you're barely scraping into the extended playoffs?
Yeah. I don't want to go. We've done a lot of C's, so let's tell ourselves right now, no C's for this team. We've had a lot of C's.
I mean, I feel like a C+ is right though. I don't care if
for
GM
or team.
C is for GM. C is average, bro.
I was thinking like
You're
D+
gonna have
for
the
the
most.
GM.
I mean, you bring in John Tavares and you have an opportunity to win a cup. It's hard for me to say D+. I'll give you an even C. That's what I'll fight with. But we're talking about the world was battling for Tavares and you got to bring him in. So,
well, the city of Toronto brought him in.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, we're not grading the city. So as we should
do a segment on grading cities.
Let's do it. But these guys can come in and win. I mean, Frederik Andersen in goal, he can stretch and he can win a playoff series, I think, for you. So maybe we'll come back and revise, and either we will admit, okay, maybe a B- or maybe a D+ after we see what happens in the playoffs. Team, I think if we were talking about the first half of the season, D-, no question. Not because they were the worst or horrendous, but they were just not playing like they should. I think at the firing of Mike Babcock, I would say closer to B+ or A-. But so let's average that out. We'll go B-. I would say B-. I think that's a pretty fair assessment of the team that has a chance to go and reverse everything that we've talked about now.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so that finally wraps up our 8-part GM and team grade segment. It's been a good, 8 weeks?
It was 8 parts, Bobby. Yes, 8 weeks.
So it's been a good 2 months. But now let's move into our joke of the week. And this one comes to us from down under in Australia.
Down under.
And the headlines from this is sex workers say reverse cowgirl position prevents spread of coronavirus.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like on the surface of what you're saying, like, yeah, you're not looking at somebody in the face. Like, what if you're breathing heavy and stuff? Boom, those water droplets on your back, no big deal. So, I would say that on the surface, sure, that's right. The biggest joke of this whole process to me is that somebody wrote a news article about it. Like,
yeah.
Like, who cares?
Yeah. So let me just read a quick excerpt from this. Enterprising Swiss sex workers have devised some inventive ways for their colleagues to service clients sans spreading the coronavirus by doing the deed doggy style and reverse cowgirl.
As if these guys coming in are not like wanting this anyway for most of the part.
I like the wording of this next part though. The opportunistic courtesans drafted the guidelines as if they like met at their yearly review to come up with coronavirus rules and regulations.
All I can think of is like a Harry Potter type situation where the head sex worker touched her like mark on her arm and like everybody comes and like just like that big meeting they have every year in like whatever is it like in the middle of Europe where all those billionaires get together and basically decide what the world's going to do. That's what I see. Except for it's like at like a low class like bar. That's like a little dive bar and like that's awesome. I love the convening of the toots, dude.
So reading down and this they quoted some New York officials who released guidelines for something called pandemic sex.
So they're using like other real
Yeah,
stuff.
and they declared that masturbation is the safest way to avoid coronavirus and denouncing sex acts like rim jobs.
I love though that the safest way to have sex is just to not have sex.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, abstinence only sex education. Like, yeah, like I didn't know we were having a trick meeting. Like, yeah, like obviously, like
They do want to warn us though that there is absolutely no scientific evidence that having sex in doggy style reverse cowgirl can mitigate the risk of contracting COVID-19. So don't come at us.
we got some real data though now, or not data, but we got some real testing happening. If a bunch of them start catching it, they're like, bro, the doggy style doesn't work. And it's going to be like one of those situations where the cause and effect are not related. And so like none of them are going to catch coronavirus and they're going to be like, see, it worked. Yeah. What a joke. What a joke. Obviously that is super funny and, you know, I guess smart that they're thinking about it, but
Swiss
like,
brothels have limited hookups to 15 minutes max, which tells me not many of their customers are hitting that 15-minute mark to begin with.
Anyway, they're like, look, we're just going to throw some regulations on there that don't even matter anyway. Like,
So really, they spend the other 13 minutes just cleaning the room.
oh, that is good. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, unfortunately, we were supposed to finish off our X-Men discussion today, but we didn't do our homework.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're sorry, but we just, you know,
We've been busy.
We just got so much going on and like we're recording early, so we didn't want to rush through it. I thought about not even telling you I didn't watch them and going on YouTube and watching those like movies and minutes.
But to be honest, like
I'm excited about these three,
I've seen all three, both the Deadpools and Logan within the past 3 years. So realistically, I could have come in here and talked about it.
I haven't.
I care about my craft.
Yes.
And so I'm not going to come in here and lie to the people.
Exactly. You know, I mean, that's our biggest thing is we're not going to come in here and say, oh yeah, we watched this when we didn't watch it. That's not fair to you. That's coming to us for X-Men knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, even though we just mentioned rim jobs on this show, this is a professional setting.
Yeah, man, it's all about context on this show. I'm advocating for masturbation inside of IKEA. Yeah. So again, like I said, context. All right, but we don't have any other this or that's this week. So we do have 3 questions from the internet. So we're going to do 3 cards today, and I think we got 3 good ones. So.
Yeah, I think you're doing 2 and I got 1, so why don't you give us your 2?
All right. Let's start with the light one. And this one is not even going to be a huge discussion for me. I think it'll probably be bigger for you, but for me, it's like, I got it. No question. What is one food you could eat for the rest of your life?
I
only
it's
eat
easy.
one food. Yeah, me too.
Buffalo wings.
Pizza, no question. Look, Buffalo, I love wings. Don't get me wrong. Now, we know how our differences are. I'm a boneless wing guy. Not because I don't like...
Because you're a coward.
Yes, exactly. You know, and it's not like I won't eat bone-in wings, but I just don't like things on my hands like that. So, like, I literally eat a wing, and then I have to wipe my hands off and completely clean them just to go back in and eat another wing. It's just easier for me to just use a fork to eat wings. So, but it's easy for me. I'm a pizza fan. If we're talking dessert, I'm an ice cream guy. I think that I could live the rest of my entire life on New York style pizza, ice cream, and beer. And
don't get me wrong. I mean, I love pizza. I mean, when we were in Minneapolis,
this is one thing. You know, that's
when we were in Minneapolis, I drug us to Young Joni to make sure we got the best pizza in the city, and it was great.
And not because you had to force me to go there, but because we were smashed.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's funny because look, I love going and getting some real Cajun food in New Orleans. But you also know that if I went to New Orleans and we only ate street pizza and daiquiris, I would be okay with it. As much as I love some good old Cajun food, that's how much I love pizza. And so...
Oh, now you got me excited for our Halloween trip.
Oh, I know, buddy. I know. We're going to have a freaking blast, dude. Me and Stephanie are already trying to think up a dope dope costume set. So
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because it's Halloween. So and
the good thing about my parents have done Halloween New Orleans a couple times. I'm always excited to do it. It is Mardi Gras light, so it's not as crazy, dirty,
not as crowded, and
especially since we're almost 30 now. So I still want to do Mardi Gras one year.
Me too.
But it
just
seems
experience.
Yeah, but both my mom, who's done it, and my wife, who's done it multiple times, they're like, it feels
like I'm more like,
I wish we had gone in college when we were 22.
Yeah, but see, now it's to the point where I don't, we got too much going on. It's more like I think we should wait till we're older and we're retired and stuff. So we don't have to come back and go back into life, because I know how I feel after a regular trip to New Orleans. So I know how I'd feel after a Mardi Gras trip. And we might decide, screw it, we're staying forever.
Yeah,
exactly, because you have that opportunity. So we're super excited, but my rule on costumes. I'm cool with doing a costume, but I don't like to do a lot of stuff with it. I just like to wear regular clothes that somebody else would wear. So, so excited, but we'll let you know when we get a decision, or maybe since we're doing this podcast now, we'll put it out into the world and see what folks think we should do.
You know who you should go dressed as is your favorite comedian.
I think Hitler is funny. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe, Bob. Maybe. Okay, so your question for the internet, we pretty much answered that.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So, if you could pick one country to run, what would it be? And can we just say right off the board, let's not take the easy answer of USA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the thing is, the world is our oyster. Because even if you run good old USA,
you're not really running it.
You don't really run it. So I'm going to look for a place that corruption is rampant. So I can really run things. It would be hard to not say North Korea, just because, if it's a hand-to-hand combat thing, I could destroy Kim Jong-un.
And even if you're bad at it, you're still better than he was.
Exactly, exactly. I'm not going to be a vicious dictator. I'm not going to kill you guys or anything.
What if you get there for the hand-to-hand combat and find out he's actually been training his whole life for that, and he just kicks your ass, and now you're embarrassed on the world stage and probably getting executed?
Well, but no, that's fair. That's obviously fair, but I'll be executed, so it's all good. But that's also the thing. I lose this battle, I get executed. Maybe the world does something about North Korea, bro. I mean, one of the biggest podcast personalities in the world gets murdered in front of a bunch of people in North Korea. But I mean, also, North Korea kind of sucks because the infrastructure is garbage, because he's really been terrible about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough. It's a tough thing. Maybe Costa Rica or something. That'd be cool. I mean, get a beach, and it's pretty small, and they already kind of, the European settlers already kind of set it up for me. I mean, appreciate it.
Priests.
What about you? You got one in mind?
I'm trying to think of one, and I think that the easiest one for me would be the country with a ridiculous sized army. So I go into the game strong. They have nukes. Mm-hmm. They have all different kinds of agriculture and landscapes. They have coal. They have farming. They have actually the world's largest supply of diamonds. So I can be rich as shit. And that's Russia.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you could pretty much just run the show. Just make sure you put through the proper appropriate bills and stuff like that. I'm going to hit you with another one that is obviously more developed, and I mean, I'm not sure about the corruption, but I'm sure it's there. Obviously corruption's everywhere, but I'm thinking Japan, dude.
That'd be cool.
Super clean. I mean, they would not like me because I'm a white guy, but I'll be guys, come on.
They'd be so how'd this happen?
Right. They're this guy does not look like he should be running our country. So Japan would be super dope to me, because
the whole time you're I don't understand the language, guys. You're gonna have to learn English. I think. I don't have a year to learn Rosetta Stone.
Well, the biggest problem is most of them probably do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the knock on us is we're pretty much, lots of places speak English, so we a lot of people don't ever learn other languages. Japan would be super dope. And I would obviously make friends with the Yakuza. You know what I'm saying? I want to be, I'm going to get ousted. No question.
So if you're listening, Triad, Brandon just said he prefers Yakuza over the Triad. So throwing that out there.
If you're listening, Yakuza, please save me. Yeah. So I think that would be a cool place to be able to run. You know what I would do in Japan though? I'd lack some of the pressures that you have to I mean, and I guess that's more cultural than anything, but like I'm going to do what I can to like relax some of the like
First executive order, everyone chill out, bro.
Everybody just chill out, man.
Yeah.
Like that's just like working hard is just like your opinion, man.
Sunday is Vitamins Day. Where you just smoke some vitamins.
Okay, so we got some pretty good options there. I don't think we ever really nailed one down, but like, yeah, some decent options. I'll tell you where I would most certainly would not want to run though. France, dude. You've seen what they do to you've seen what they, besides the fact that it's France, but like you've seen what they do to leaders
France
they
is
don't
dope,
like.
but yeah, throughout history they do not like. It doesn't matter. Like even if they kick out the old rules and put new ones in, it takes them a month to be like, oh, we don't like you.
Yeah, right. Like,
we kill you now.
Yeah, you are.
You are poor now you're rich. Oh, we don't like you.
Yeah. So I mean, France. So that would be one that I'd be like, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm all good. Okay. So our third question that we have here: if you were thrown into one of 4 major league sports, and I think the 4 major league sports here we're talking about baseball, football, basketball, and curling, and or hockey, if you want to throw that in there, the 5 major sports.
Yeah.
What sport and position would you be most successful in? This is very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Because I would say that probably the easy answer would be backup place kick holder on an NFL team.
Yeah. But let's go no special teams.
No special teams.
And that also means, earlier before the show, I said, I'll just be a middle relief pitcher.
Yeah.
Let's not do that. That's an easy way out.
I think for me, especially, obviously, you probably, being a bigger guy, you're going to have a little bit more options than me. I would say.
Now, question, are we taking this at our current athleticism?
Yes.
Or can we say, give me a year to train and weight lift, and give us, if you give me a year.
We'll get it. Well, I mean, we're going to get to practice with the team, I would guess.
Okay, and then we also get their trainers and you get their weightlifting.
We get all of the benefits of being a professional.
Yeah.
That doesn't really matter.
Okay, so when I don't know. I think that if you get a coach and you give me, I might, if I go into the off season and I get professional trainers for weightlifting, because I'm already a pretty strong guy. I weightlift. I think, obviously I was big in high school to be an offensive defensive lineman. I'm obviously not big enough to even play college, no less pro sports. But I think I'm about 6'2". I'm a big, broad guy. I think if with training, I could go in and play weak side linebacker with training.
Yeah. And you get blown by.
Yeah. And listen, and here's the thing. We're
going to get destroyed in all of them.
Right? Yeah. That's the thing. We're not saying we're going to just be, when I hear be successful, I hear making it.
It doesn't say be successful. It says would you be the most successful?
Yeah.
In? So we're just looking for
and
the
if we take out all the
of,
cheat answers, I think weak side linebacker with training.
Okay. I could see that.
I think let's see.
That would be where you would be the least bad is what we're saying essentially.
Yeah.
I would say probably for me, definitely could probably play some outfield in baseball maybe. I'm pretty quick. I can catch pretty well. Like I'm not going to be able to cover the ground that some of these guys. But again, we're talking about training and stuff.
Yeah.
I would be a terrible hitter probably because 90-mile-an-hour
just
fastballs.
To put into reference, AJ Hawk, who is a freak athlete, was 6'1", 250. So he's an inch shorter than me, a little bit lighter than me. With training, cutting some weight, gaining some muscle, I have a background in football. I know the basics.
Right.
I think I could be somewhat. Now, I would get my ass kicked every single play. We want
to highlight to that we're just talking about what we would be more successful than the other spot.
Yeah.
So outfielder in baseball would be potential. Maybe second base. I wouldn't be a professional.
Yeah. Listen, I think outfielder in baseball, because let's be honest, while the balls are getting hit much harder than they were in high school, I think gravity works the same. They're still probably falling from the sky at the same rate.
Yeah. It's so just more ground to cover is the biggest thing.
Yeah. So, being a right fielder in high school, in college, and in the pros, other than maybe having to run further and more often, if you're conditioned, you're doing the same thing.
Exactly.
And baseball stands don't come after me saying, oh, here's how it's so much different, blah, 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 blah. I don't care.
I would also say, again, successful is the barometer of what we would be more. I could probably be like a 12th man on a basketball team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I can pass okay, and I'm gonna get beat like I stole something every time. But like, I mean, I could make a couple potential
and
plays.
listen, those guys, their main job is to get hype for a dunk.
Exactly.
Wearing the jumpsuit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like being hype is like my freaking pastime.
Yeah.
Dude. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I could definitely be a bench player on a high school or on a basketball team. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like we got some pretty decent answers there. Like, you know, I feel like we're not going to ever be professionals, and I think the worst part about baseball is the hitting. Like I would be horrendous
now,
at hitting. Not that I'm bad at hitting, but because I can't hit 99 mile an hour fastballs.
So, question: ESPN has designated esports as one of them as a major sport now.
No.
Can we be an esport player?
I mean, if you want to choose that, I'll be okay with it. But
I'm not going to choose it.
No, I've seen those guys. I have a much better chance of playing outfield in baseball than I do of like, you know, because especially since like I'm not willing to dedicate the time to be great at video games.
I mean, unless it's like The Sims. Can we make The Sims an esport?
Right, exactly. But even so, like, you know me, like I'll play a video game like pretty hardcore for like a while, and then I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Like I don't care about it. Like, so I think that would be the good answers. Like I wouldn't even pick if esports was on there. Like, but
so go ahead.
Maybe horseshoes though.
I was never good at horseshoes.
I'm pretty decent. Like I'm not like the best or anything, but I feel like with some training, like if I just threw horseshoes every day, like I've got a good technique. Like
I think it's the kind of thing you would definitely get better at as you're playing.
And look, my biggest thing of like, you know, now being older, I want to be able to drink beer while I'm playing a sport. And so like horseshoes is like the king of drinking while you play the sport. So.
All right, so let's move into what are you binging?
All right.
I'll start us off. I'm still watching the Arrowverse. I just got to Gorilla Grodd. And as I said last week, I am doing it where like I watch an episode of Arrow, go over to Flash. And right now it's like I'm doing 2 here, 2 there because I want to watch it in release order, which is difficult. So it makes the length of it, like if to watch one season, you're watching 2 seasons.
I'll tell you what you should do though, is just watch one and then the other, because most of the time they don't mix. I get what you're trying to do, but like, there's only certain ones that actually mean something to the other one.
So I'm watching season 3 of Arrow while watching season 1 of Flash, and so far, like it's like, especially with like Adam,
the Atom.
Yeah, the Atom, Ray Palmer. Like you see him, like he goes here and then he immediately goes there and goes there and goes there. So I like the way I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's a little difficult, and it'll get really hard next season when they bring in Constantine, Vixen, League of Legends, or the Legends of tomorrow.
Legends is, if you haven't seen it.
I have not.
Legends is like a really, really, really good show,
That's
bro.
dope.
You're going to like that a whole lot.
But we just got to Gorilla Grodd, which, you know, when we did all of our superhero discussions, we really never talked about our favorite villains. And that's because I never really had a favorite villain.
Gorilla Grodd is awesome.
Yeah, I think, you know, and I went and read some of the comics of him versus like GL and versus Flash. I think Gorilla Grodd might be my new favorite villain, because, you know, then the crazy thing is I've always loved gorillas. Hell, it's our mascot for this though. And I was like a couple months ago, I was thinking I was trying to figure out what tattoo I wanted. I was split between a bear and a gorilla. Then I got an ad on Facebook that was like, hey, did you know that bears are the #1 most gotten animal tattoos? Like, oh, fuck, I'm not getting that now. But so I was like, I'm getting a gorilla, so I might add a little bit of armor onto it and get a Gorilla Grodd tattoo.
Well, I feel like if we talked about, because I've seen a lot of the Flash. Like I've seen like 4 or 5 seasons at least. If we started talking about favorite villains, dude, it's like, because I love speedsters, and so like I love everything, all the villains in Flash. So like it would be hard for me not just to be like, watch Flash and you'll see all my favorite villains. So but yeah, we can talk about it at some point.
Yeah, I love the Prison Break duo of Cold and Heatstroke, or Heat Wave.
Oh yeah.
The same 2 guys from Prison Break.
And little secret, they become involved in Legends, bro.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's super awesome. So for my show that I've been binging and just watching a few episodes, me and Steph decided to rewatch Lost. And like, I get it, it's a TV show, and I loved Lost, and I still love it. And it's not in it now. I love Lost seasons 1 through 4. I think they're some of the best TV ever. But it is extremely, extremely frustrating to me what obviously you have to do to make the show what it is. But like, nobody, like, they're just burning stuff and destroying stuff, and like, you could use that, bro. Like, you're on an island. Like, even if you do get rescued, you may not. Like, why are you burning the whole fuselage with all these wires and all this stuff attached to it? And but Lost is awesome. If you've never seen it, I suggest it. It's
I
a
think I
show
saw
to
the
get
first couple
into.
seasons, and I just lost interest. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
that's that. People get that, and like the first couple seasons are dope.
Yeah.
But I think we both got the same. We haven't even actually started binging this, but
As soon as
we're
this is
gonna,
done,
yeah, as
we're
soon as we're
cracking open.
over, gonna crack open some Tailgate Lager, man. So yeah, so we're gonna binge that this weekend, and by the time you hear it, we will have binged it.
Yeah.
So we technically won't be lying to you on the what are you binging. Let's move into what snaps your stick. I'll start since I moved into it, I guess. And you've heard me mention this before, but I've never like actually had it on Snaps My Stick and like had like a full like this is what wears me out. Sports unwritten rules, or at least I
Yeah.
think I haven't. We've done a lot of episodes now,
You've talked
and
about
so
it
like
before.
I've definitely talked about it. I don't know if it's been a Snap My Stick, but I definitely wanted to highlight it again. Those people, for example, a great one is you don't go and score on a fast break if you're up by a bunch of points in basketball.
Boo.
Yeah, you do, because that's the goal of the game
Yeah.
is to score as many points as possible. Like,
Yeah.
especially now, what I don't agree with is if a team is super up and the backup and the coach doesn't put the backups in or something to let
Yeah.
everybody get some playing time. Yeah, you shouldn't do that. But like again, I'm not faulting the guy for going and slamming it home on you. Like, this is the league. Like, you're especially professional sports.
Yeah.
There are some other things that
They
are
have
different,
contracts, and they're trying to get stats. I mean, a lot of the money is based on what they do every year.
And you're the best of the best of everything you do. Everybody that's in that league is. So like when people get mad about a guy that doesn't get a lot of playing time dunking on you, let me tell you something. You don't want somebody to dunk on you, stop them from dunking on
Yeah.
you. You know, that's my opinion of the whole ordeal. The worst is baseball. Baseball has so many unwritten rules. Bro, you can't chew gum before 9 a.m. It's baseball, man. Shut up. I'll do whatever the hell I want to do because if a rule is a rule, then it would be written down.
Yeah.
There are things that like, hey, like, oh, well, I wouldn't do that or this, but I'm not going to say, can't believe he did that. Oh, was it against the rules of the league? Well, no, but I mean, you just don't do that in baseball. Shut up, old man. Like that's how I feel about
Yeah.
it. Like,
No, I agree.
you don't want to get like when the Patriots absolutely shredded the Titans 59-0, I think it was
Yeah.
in that snow game.
And they've done it to the Redskins too, 52-0.
I can't believe that they just kept running up the score. I'll tell you, a great way to not get beat 59-0 is
Score.
score on your own, but not let them score.
Yeah.
Like if you can get beat 59-0, then you deserve.
And I
to get
guarantee
beat
you,
59-0.
if the Titans had put 52 piece up on the Patriots, they would have been so happy and
Oh, yeah.
cheering and if they should have scored if they would.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Exactly. And so obviously there are some people that abide by the sports the sports unwritten rules across the board, and I have a little bit more respect for them than I do the people that only want the unwritten rules when they affect them negatively
Yeah.
instead of positively. I mean, yeah. We can, and I could sit here and we could talk about it for days.
And we may
could
do an
talk about it
episode
for
on it.
days. A whole episode on sports unwritten rules. I would be awesome. I would be so frustrated at the end of it because but no unwritten rules. There are only rules are written rules.
Yeah.
So
All right, so let's talk about mine. And this is one that I've always been very stressed on. And this is one that I've always cared a lot about. Franchise owners, sport franchise owner who thinks they are the show.
Snyder family,
Jerry Jones. The Indianapolis Colts owner.
the Raiders owners, the Davises. I agree with that.
So, and we talked about this before when we talked about the contract negotiations for the NFL. The owners will never allow the players to make more than like 50.5%. Never. They believe that the owners are the show. And that's the problem. Nobody's buying jerseys with Snyder on it or Jones on it. The show,
Bro,
the players on the field.
Speak for yourself. I just got my Jerry Jones jersey in. It says, "Hey, we're going to lose Jerry Jones."
So, the fact that the owners have the audacity to say that they should make more than 51% is insane. The most important people in a sports franchise are the people playing. They are the gladiators. They are on TV. They are performing.
Now, let me hit you with this. I'm sorry to interrupt you. It would be, and I 100% agree with you. And you want to know why I agree with you? Because those owners are not footing the bill for all of the stadiums and all this stuff.
Yeah.
If a guy came in, if Bill Gates said, I'm going to buy your team outright, I'm going to build this $2 billion stadium and I'm paying for it. Bro, get your money, dude, because you have, but what you're doing is like the local economy is now, me and you are, we were not making billions of dollars, believe it or not, depending on how pumped up you think this podcast is. We're not rich. Okay.
Yeah. Some could say we're the opposite.
We're now paying for this, and then you're saying you're paying for it.
Yeah.
You're not. You're not paying for this. So yeah, go ahead. I just wanted to say that.
You know, and they always come back with, oh, well, the owner is important. They put butts in the seats. No, they don't. They delegate all that shit. They have a social media team. They have PR teams. They have people that follow the players around and make sure they're going to events. The owners are doing nothing. They are just the bankroll, and they're barely the bankroll when it's when it's our money that's paying the, building everything, and it's our money at concession stands going to the players, and we're buying the jerseys.
And I do want to highlight, obviously, like I don't agree with us paying for, taxpayers paying for everything on a stadium. But I do agree with the fact that, I mean, it does bring in revenue to the city and stuff.
Yeah,
so
I've never
understand that.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with taxpayers paying for stadiums
because we get it back tenfold, and I get that. But it's the same thing of what you're saying. At that point, because I'm pretty much the owner now, I got a share in this. I have a stake in this and paying for this. So that's where it becomes different. If you want to pay for the whole stadium yourself, do you, boo-boo? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you don't want to pay, if you want me to pay for it, then shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up and get out of the way.
And it really hits home, like when we have these contract negotiations and the owners are just, and here's the thing, the public likes to always, and that's crazy, the public and the fans like to blame the players. They always like to say, oh, well, just get back to work. You should be happy you're in that position.
Exactly.
And I hate that. Why should, they worked from the day they could pretty much start walking. They started putting on pads. Their parents drove them to practices. They've been working their entire life for one goal, and that is to be a professional athlete. And now you're telling them they should be they're lucky to have this? No, right. And there's no luck involved in becoming a professional athlete.
And the thing
is hard work.
Well, the thing is, you're the same person. Like people that say that are the same reason that they get paid so much money, bro. If you didn't watch sports, if nobody watched sports and they weren't able to pay this money, they wouldn't be able to pay it. So I agree with that. Like, look, man, when somebody holds out on a contract or something, like, yeah, it's like, oh, that's frustrating. But like,
there are exceptions to the rule when players, kind of.
You have limited value. You have limited time frame to get your money. Yeah. And I mean, and not only limited time frame to get your money, but you could ruin your entire life by one play. Yeah. I mean, and so I'm with that too. Like, look at who you should be upset at and not.
Because here's the thing. If a team has multiple losing seasons, if you've got the Cleveland Browns, not winning a game for 3 years, who's going to take the heat? The quarterbacks, the linemen. They're going to lose their jobs. They're going to lose their contracts. The owner doesn't go broke. Yeah. The owner is still filthy rich because you still have fans in the stadium. You still have TV deals. I mean, there is no risk for
the Detroit Lions owners, who has been a traditionally horrendous team and horrendously run team. There ain't a day that goes by that he doesn't become a little bit more rich because he owns the Lions. The Lions. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
so the fact that these contract negotiations come down to sometimes half a percentage point with the players saying, hey, it's been 3 years since we even got a little bit of a raise, whereas you made, $100 million last year?
I mean, through this pandemic, billionaires have made 400, I think it's, maybe it's 40. They've increased their wealth by like at least $40 billion. Through the pandemic, where all people are struggling, they're having trouble putting food on the table. I agree. I think that's a great one. I think we both got pretty light secondary ones though. Yeah. So we went from super heavy to something we're really upset about to more just like, ugh. My non-sports answer is the stupid, weird get to know you games in situations that don't call for it. And I'll tell you what the worst part is. The worst of this is freaking college classes. Dude, we're not going to talk to any of these people ever, again. Like, maybe we'll talk to people, but like, it wasn't because of this game. Like, tell me your name and your hometown, and also tell me the most interesting time you farted and where it was. And, like, shut up, you dumb lady. Teach me economics or teach me English or whatever you're supposed to be teaching me. I hate them. And it's like, it's not like I'm a shy guy that just doesn't like to talk. Like,
I don't think anyone would say that.
There's a couple. No, exactly. See, that's the point. Like, if I hate them, then that person that is introverted and just wants to learn something hates it way more than I hate it. You know what I'm saying? It's. I
think that there are different classes. Like, there are, especially in some of the classes I took in media, where you have to do a lot of group projects.
Sure.
I think, but they have done weird things where like they make it into a game when if it's just a simple, hey, tell us your name, or even if it's just like, hey, I'm going to take roll, tell me what you like to be called.
Yes,
then I feel like
different.
That's enough.
That's like you learning the only thing you actually need to know. And I don't even agree if it's a 7-person class, if it's an 8-person class that's going to have 4 groups of 2. It's still stupid to me because like while you're doing group projects, you get to learn.
Them, yeah.
Well, it's like you learn what life is going to be like. Like when I walk into work, like it's not like, all right, everybody, if I'm new at a job, all right, everybody, this is Brandon and he's from Cheatham County and he likes to podcast on the side. Now, everybody go around and tell something about yourself so Brandon gets to know you. Like, no, like you just either learn something about people that you want to know, or I just like, hey, it doesn't matter because we need to do this work together.
Yeah.
So hate them. If you're a college professor listening to this, first of all, what the hell, bro? You need to
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, obviously, first, but like, what up, bro? Like, are you using us as like a barometer of like, look, this is what could happen to you if you don't, no, the opposite. If like, this is what could happen to you if you don't really pay attention in class and tell people your favorite color. Like, all right. So what do you got? I think yours is a super funny one too.
So anytime you watch any crime show, whether it's you see it in The Flash, you see it in Law and Order, you see it in NYPD Blue, it's always the same thing. If something happened, the lieutenant always tells the detective, "You're too close to this," and then the detective, "Don't bench me on this. I'm not too close." They killed my brother.
Yeah.
It's like, well, can they not find anything new? It's like, that doesn't happen in the real world.
Right.
There's so many weird things about crime shows. Like you walk in, like, if you go into a police station, it's not all glass and pretty. And it's a building. It looks like a school, kind of.
Yeah. There's like 6 dudes sleeping and they got like crumbs all over their face and there's like shitty coffee everywhere.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, which you brought up and I was like, oh yeah, how quickly DNA results come in. This is like a 6-month process.
Can you run this for me? Yeah, let me plug it in. Got it.
Oh my God. Like,
enhance.
This is a tooth scraping from this guy. Like, and so my favorite part is the DNA results. Like, you know what I wish there was like a real crime show. It was like a fake crime show, like a Bones or a SVU or something like that. But like they kept it in real time. And so like, they have a case and they start the process of it and they run DNA results. And then the show 6 months from now, they're like, okay, we finally got DNA results back.
He's killed 10 more people. So
we finally got this from case A. Like, all right, bro. Well, we got to go grill. We got to go drink. All right, out of here.
Yeah.
What'd you learn?
What did I learn? I learned that the Swiss really take their prostitution seriously.
Is it the Swiss or
it was an Australian article talking about the Swiss prostitution.
All right, down under. I feel like I learned that Australian voices are awesome, number 1. And number 2, I feel like we didn't do any X-Men homework this week.
Yeah. But, all right, guys, we will see you next week.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.